Cool. I was partway through typing a snippet to Emre, so query. So let me just finish typing that because we were going back and forth yesterday about date histograms and stuff like that. So
off the air stuff.
Yeah. So this morning leading up to the call, I was like, how does Grafana do it? And that's how Grafana does it. So
do we have any knowledge about the data flow, from devices, or any reliable information about data flow? Because I seem to be having weird trouble with some of the units I'm testing.
Yeah, I mean, I have a diagram and I can point you to some things. The only thing is, like, if I can't see anything on this end, then like there's like a gap between the device and TT-serve that I don't have any way to tell you anything about. So if the breakdown is somewhere in that vicinity, yeah.
I got a link. I got a link for JSON files for each of them, which I think is on TT-serve. And it's just what it is. It's a text file with different records. And the most confusing thing is that I turn these things on and they come on and they get a GPS lock and they measure their CPM. And then if they connect, they send a record. And at least in one case, I can see that the record is in that JSON file. But then I look on Grafana and it doesn't show the location of the device. So I don't know where the disconnect is there.
Yep. So what do you have as far as, do you have like a URN or like an ID number or anything like that?
Let me see. Well, actually, I got Ray sent me a link, said check it here first. And what am I looking at here? Let me find that. There, it's, okay. So the link is tt.safecast.org/device/log/a date $, and then a device, then .json.
Might have to talk me through the device log part. Is it just all one word, or
you want to see it? Yeah, I'll just paste it in the chat. Oh wait, I can't. Let me see if I can do that because I'm looking at it on my iPad. Anyway, okay, so tt.safecast.org/device-log.
Device-log.
All right, / and the example I have up is 2021-02 $ safecast dash 3 $4 is a little bit strange. 74557222.json.
Yay. Cool. So
if you look at the very bottom record there.
Okay, it's got a URL, so it's a good sign. The very bottom record.
So the very last one, what's the most recent one? Is device URN safecast. It's right number, device class, when captured 2021-216. So that's after I had it here. Okay, and the location latitude is 35,475 and longitude 139. I didn't check every digit, but that sounds like here.
Yep. Well, we can do two things. One is we can look it up on Grafana and have that give us a map.
That's right. Then if you go pull up that device on Grafana, and the location, it shows either, I can't remember if this is one that gives no location or the one that gives us gives the Rob's location. Or maybe it says, yep, that's it. Recent locations. Yeah, see, that's okay. That's the office.
Yeah, so that's where it reported. So that's only got one in the last hour, and then that's the location there. And let's just see.
And in the last 12 hours.
Last 12 hours, really.
Right. Okay,
yeah,
but
and so this, I mean, we could ask Google Maps for what this is.
We might have to do that because I looked at those coordinates and they looked like here, but the office is close enough to here that I kind of have to check in the smaller digits to be sure. Because I looked at the screen and the screen got the right coordinates for here.
So this is what's in the payload, and do I have like too many decimal points? Let me take it.
A comma.
Just a touch. It should just, yeah. Or do I have it? Is it the other way around? I always forget because like, I think it's api.safecast.org does it one way and Google does it the other way. There you go. So I had it basically right, just the wrong order. So,
yeah, might as well go ahead and put the little digits in.
Yep.
It didn't look like any place I recognize. But you may not have enough coordinates. You don't have enough coordinates. You wind up with just Asia. The other thing you could do is go to, is there in the JSON file, is there a plus code? Because that's probably more reliable.
Okay.
This thing here?
Yep.
Can I just put that in
Google Maps? That's not
I've never tried.
That's definitely not here. That's right here is PWW9. Yeah, maps.
Does that work?
Yep.
Yeah, that works. So that's this. Which seems, let me zoom out a little bit.
It's different. No,
yeah,
that's
looks
right.
like yeah.
Yokohama. Right. It's Joe's place.
No, that's not.
No.
No, I'm in Chiba.
Yeah,
that's definitely not Chiba. That's not the office.
Okay, well, but
at least Google Maps agrees with Grafana and agrees with the plus code here. Yeah.
And the problem is in the SolarCast Nano itself, then, because it didn't send the location it has.
Mm-hmm.
So in that time, it was sending something cached from the GPS. So okay, so it's not some disconnect between TT-serve and Grafana or between the device and TT-serve. It's probably something. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. In that case, I have a possible solution. Great.
Cool. Awesome.
Because I will modify the hardware inside the box to put power on the memory, on the low power memory for the GPS, so that it remembers its location after it gets a fix. Because I think the firmware like lights up the GPS, and if it doesn't get a location within 90 seconds, it uses something it has stored. And if you haven't got a good sight of the sky, or is just unlucky satellite arrangements, then the GPS module can take more than 2 minutes to get a fix the first time, because every time is a cold start. But if I power its RTC, then it'll have a better prediction about where it should be, and it should lock much faster. So I can do that. Okay, cool. Moving on.
Yeah. So at least the system all agrees. That's a good sign. Right. I'm glad that we didn't have some sort of weirdo thing going on with the plot or whatever. So.
The data flow from satellite to web page is not the most easy to follow and understand.
Yeah, it's a little convoluted. I do. I mean, this diagram is basically the flow. This says, or actually, that's a SolarCast, right? So. This is basically what's happening, and then Grafana is over here. Like I wanted to keep the diagram basically simple. So, if you dig down into ingest, then you can see Grafana's as part of like ingest. Yeah. So.
Well, the worst result of all this is that we wind up with sometimes getting radiation data first, and therefore the location of that data is assigned to a location where the sensor was previously. And that's not optimum.
Yeah. Maybe I'll.
I think it's wrong. It's not a matter of optimum.
It's
you cannot trust it.
Yeah. And I'm looking to actually put these sensors outside in places they're not easily accessible, soon. So it'd be nice if they, work.
Yes,
but on the other hand, they've been sitting in a drawer for like 2.5 years, so I might as well just put them out somewhere.
That's true. By the way, mine is reporting nicely every time, so it seemed to be some are not so good.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the criteria is. I tried putting a DC supply on one to see if it was just somehow not happy with its battery, and so only reporting every 12 hours or something, and that didn't help. I don't know. They speak a language I don't understand, and things scroll by on their screen, and I don't know what the messages mean. So it's hard to troubleshoot.
Did you put up a USB connector with the serial output? You can see more what's coming out.
Where?
I think you should.
On the Red Bear?
There is on the USB, I think there's coming out data.
Well, there are 3 or 4 USB connectors in those devices. Which one are we talking about? It's got to be the one on the Red Bear, right?
Yeah.
Because the one on the main board, I think it only has power connections for charging, for remote charging.
Yeah. Because I remember I was programming them, I could see the serial output.
That's the other thing is I've got 3 versions of firmware in the units I have here too. What's the latest?
I can imagine that. Let's see what's the latest for that. Let me pull it up. But I think we shouldn't talk about this now. We should.
Yeah, we should move on to API issues. Anyway, Rob, if you can send me a note with that sometime in the next 6 hours, that'll be great.
Yep, I will look into that.
Cool. I updated the graphs to make it a little clearer that like Grafana's over here, but and we have one for Internet. I don't know for sure if Airnote dual publishes to API or not. So if someone knows, they can fill in the API section of this.
Not the API yet.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I did.
We should probably keep it that
way. I'm not sure. It depends what Peter wants, I think. I mean, I think we'll get a strong push to get the data in there too. But let's see what Ray thinks about it.
Yeah, I don't think we should, especially now that we have this, because we shouldn't need real time to show Airnote information. It should just all be here.
No.
Yeah. Real note is going away, isn't it? Or real time is going away.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's already on the way out.
I would very much like to kill it, but there's things that need to get untangled before we can do that. So. Yeah.
And especially going data to the maps, that's really critical.
Yep. Yeah, which ingest data all gets to the maps already. It's just that the links from the map go back to real time. so we need to undo some of that. Yep. Cool. So we found.
Do we have any idea when Nick can be available, or somebody is communicating with him?
I communicated with him in just before Christmas, and don't have any. I didn't learn anything about when he might be more available.
Yeah, could you ping him and see? Because you seem to have a good relation with him, and he seemed to be open to you too. So that would be great if we can get him back. Because I think we need him. Also for Batran would make it much easier, I think.
Yeah, he's really the only one who has any sense of how tiles get generated. So
well, if he only has a little bit of time, maybe what he can do is spend it to bring somebody else up to speed.
Yeah, that would help. Now I'm searching here and there for what has been already done. So I get a piece of information from here and a piece of information from there. But it's getting more clear. So it seems he has a very good documentation on the map. He put a link and it explains the methodology of how he's producing tiles from the GPS data and so on. So it's quite explanatory, but a lot of code that needs to be read and understood in that sense. So I'm still trying to understand what's going on.
And even if the documentation is good, the level of expertise that he applies is hard to match.
It is, yeah. It's a lot of sophisticated indexing and so on. So what Matt was suggesting is we can find something out of the box, like some solution developed, like a Juice server or something that can automatically generate the tiles. It may not be as impressive as this one, but it would be like you can just run the software and it will generate the tiles. So it's there if something crashes or so.
Yeah, I think Batran and I talked about this yesterday. But my main hope here is that we can come up with something to produce like interpolated data for air, which might not look that interesting yet because we don't have like a lot of sensors today, but eventually, hopefully we will. And so it'd be good to get something that can give us an interpolation layer. Right now, we only have the interpolation layer for radiation. So if we can come up with something that can give us an interpolation layer for air, as we get more air sensors, I think that'll be really useful.
Sure, yeah, I'll look into that. And it would be very, you mentioned about Nick, he's the guy that wrote all that code. Yep. If he's at some point available that I can have a call with him for an hour or so, just to walk me through what's happening, where is he putting stuff, and that would be very helpful.
We can try to DM him on Slack and see what happens. Yeah, last I heard from Peter, he basically wasn't available, but it sounds like maybe Joe has had some contact with him. So
it's the last was early December when we were writing back and forth about one of the bugs on the API page about people being able to delete their own files.
Mm-hmm.
We had somebody who had a bunch of remorse about some debug logs that they'd uploaded and they wanted to delete them. And after they'd been approved, and yeah, we were looking at what kinds of things we could do to help enhance privacy on certain data that became sensitive.
But we can also look maybe Eve, if she can have a look at it.
I can ping her too. She seems pretty busy based on her Twitter feed. She seems to be deep into hardware lately. So, but she can. You never know with Eve. I mean, and she can be not easy to understand and work together on things. So
that's true. But she's
really
amazing.
Brilliant.
Smart.
She's really brilliant on the issues that that she helps with, but. Yeah, she's kind of comes and goes and is difficult to predict when she'll be available.
Yeah, but when she's available,
the one that does she's the one that does them like maps. She's engaging in that as well.
I haven't had any engagement on SafeCast issues with her for 6-8 months. When's the last time we heard from her, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't ever had her engage on any issues of mine. So she pops into the channel every once in a while. So
I suppose unless you count as being I don't know, expressing an opinion about the quality of some kind of solution as an engagement.
That's most of what I've gotten. I don't think I think she helped out back in like 2016 to do some database schema manipulations. But
that's
yeah, I think that's about it.
She also seems to have a talent for these really complex relationships between systems, where we've got like the diagrams you're looking at a few minutes ago. This one goes into that server, that server goes this one can do that. And she seems to understand that stuff intuitively. So, but that's not the exact problem we're having right now.
No, yeah, we just need someone who knows a thing or two about geo rendering. I think it's what it comes down to. Yeah, and I think like it's probably we could probably also get by without interpolation for some time, because for starters we're not going to have a whole ton of data to begin with, and probably an interpolation layer will look pretty bare. But hopefully these air notes will be cheap enough that we'll see rapid uptake, and little by little we'll start to have a lot more interesting air data coming from these air notes, and we're going to want to be able to see some sort of a interesting looking graph similar to what we have for radiation today.
With enough sensors, you don't need interpolation.
That's true. But yeah, ideally it'd be great to get something that works. And where'd my interpolation layer go? I think people have gotten used to seeing this nice display for radiation data. So it'd be nice to get something like this for air data.
The radiation interpolation only covers Japan, right? And maybe North America.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it has some thresholding involved, but I thought maybe not. Maybe it's just the drives. Ooh, come on, internet.
Might also be Australia, but I'm pretty sure for a long time it was just Japan. But if you select just the interpolation layer, then you can kind of see where it is. There it is.
Oh yeah, maybe it is just Japan for now. So that'd be nice too, to expand the interpolation layer out of one country.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think we can do the group
try my luck.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try my luck and ping Nick. He seems to be online on Slack now, and see if he's open to chat or
I just did send him a ping, and
I did too. Nice. You just got like 3. Nice. So if he's responding,
okay, then I'll
have lots of options on who to respond to.
Great. So whenever he responds, just hi, just a call for 1 hour or so. I'll chat with him, figure out what he's doing and so on.
I was going to do this because if I take off the URN, yeah, there you go. Because this is capable of doing that sort of like the dots basically, but it can't do anything for interpolation. So right now we're getting like a geohashed grid. You know, we could do, just to make it, to do like more grouping, we could do like a precision of 4 or 3 or 2 even. And you see what it does is it aggregates a bunch of points into like one point based on your precision and gives you a dot for that spot. But I don't think it's going to do anything in terms of interpolation for us. So it'd be awesome if you could find something that does.
Yeah, it does only the clustering part. So clustering the points. Yeah. But
oh, and it also doesn't change precision based on zoom level, I think. Yeah, I think it's like one fixed precision per graph.
Yeah, and I remember I mentioned last time that we can consume GeoServer here, but I double checked and Grafana doesn't support any tiling, so we cannot like even get the tiles from the MIT server and put it here. Grafana doesn't have that feature.
Yeah. Oh well.
For the device list, the
I'm
one
not surprised, but thanks for checking it out.
Yeah, so for the device list, the one that we've been trying to change to like charts and so on.
Yep.
Yeah, this one we can pull the GeoServer tiles or the tiles from MIT, and we can use the leaflet. Yeah, down there.
Yeah, so we should be able to replace this with leaflet. Yeah.
Yeah, and leaflet have some option to consume GeoServer, so we can put them point and also overlay the exact same like exact same interpolated layer, and it can look like that.
That would be really cool. Yeah, and this is actually technically leaflet, but it's leaflet inside of Grafana, so we're limited to what Grafana supports. So I think maybe if we swap this out for just raw leaflet, then we can do something better. Were you trying to say something, Rob?
No, because also we can maybe look at the code from who was the developer who made this small app.
The library thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be very useful in there because that's also leaflet based.
What is it? It's like slash something. Yeah, I forget. It had a very specific URL that she set it up under. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Because that might even have some code. Oh, you have to go to /index. That's what it was. Because this is leaflet based too, I believe, and also queries a lot of the same data. So we might even be able to use this as like a base.
Yeah, that makes it much easier.
Where was that? I think it's just library is maybe what it's called. Yep.
I think only library. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this is the repo here. So. And this queries the same data sources that Grafana does. So it's just a custom rendering.
So both of them query Elasticsearch?
Yep.
Okay, and yeah, one quick question. There seem to be, I'm still not so familiar with that mu g/m3, the unit of measuring the air. But that I guess there are some kind of conversion equations that we need to apply on the Elasticsearch output so that we can produce this, right?
No, what you get from Elasticsearch will be a computation of the micrograms per cubic meter, which is what you're seeing here. If we wanted to do like AQI, that would be an additional calculation on top of the data. But if it's just if you're just looking to do micrograms per cubic meter, that's the same data that's in Elasticsearch. So here I can we should be able to see it. Oh no, this is radiation. I need like something that has air data. I had a tab open that I think was, no, that's also CPM.
There's a Solarcast here that any of the Solarcasts. It's going to be not that one. 3743. That one.
3743. This one.
So I'm not seeing any. There we go. Charging temperature, CPM.
There you go. There's your air. And so these are like the raw docs down here that we have here just for like debugging information. And if I find one of the ones with a PM field in it, that's interesting. I guess it's probably only showing me like the top 10, and I'm just not seeing the air payloads in here. Oh, there it is. So these values here are, the units on these are micrograms per cubic meter. And we actually have a whole list of the fields on here, I believe. So you just get a number, and then depending on the field, it has like a presumed unit based on this list here.
Oh, I see. So it's a PMS PM2_5. That one.
Yeah, and so it'll be a different field depending on like which sensor the device uses. We could potentially do something in the Elasticsearch query to basically tell like Elasticsearch to collapse these down into just like one field. We could create all of them and then do some math on the client side to figure out how we want to use them. It's, you know, it's kind of up to us, but these are the raw fields that the devices will produce. And then what goes into Elasticsearch is, for now, is just raw fields. Like the only thing we do like computationally during ingest is convert the lat long to like a proper geo field, and everything else is just, you know, JSON straight through the pipe.
Right. So if we have to produce a interpolated layer like the one you showed, there are lots of fields that we can use, but mainly we can go with 2.5. That one.
Yeah, I think it's the Plantower 2. It's this one. The PMS PM025 is the one that the air notes should be reporting, and the SolarCast as well. So I think this, if you needed to just standardize on one field, I think you could pick this one, and it would get you a decent part of the way there. And we could, like I said, we could look at doing stuff in transit where we have ingest, basically like see which fields are available and maybe like prefer one, and then set that as like, you know, a global PM 2.5 field or something. You know, there's lots of options once we know what we want to pull.
Sure.
Make sense?
Yeah. Now I'm started to use. Yeah. Makes sense. I'm using now Elasticsearch. I started using Postgres in the beginning, but I gave up. It's really slow. So Elasticsearch is much more efficient. I'm querying it from Python, and I'll do some aggregation to visualize.
Cool. See what you can come up with. And I sent you all the zip files of everything that Nick handed me from the MIT server if you want to take a look at that stuff as well. But like I said, I didn't have any luck getting it set up here. I think even Nick doesn't really have all the info on that setup, because I forget who it was that wrote part of it. It's not like Nick did all of it. He did like the interpolation stuff, and then there was someone else who did a lot of the data retrieval code.
Sure. Thanks. I'll look at it.
Yep.
So I do have to drop off for another meeting, but I'll follow up on Slack.
Cool.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Cool. We also got a little bit of a preview of Emre's work there. So, which is this thing here, which loads way faster. Look at that. It jumps right on the page. Like you don't even see it. Grafana's still like getting its act together, and this thing is just like, yep, here's a graph. So that's pretty cool.
There are currently some gaps there, but I fixed it already.
Cool.
Why is it filling with color underneath the lines? Is that a choice, a style choice, or is that something we can't choose? Or I'm not sure that's appropriate for radiation data, but
I use the same colors that the Grafana graph used, so I can change it.
But not the choice of colors, the fact that the graph the area is filled underneath the graph. Yeah,
and I think Grafana fills as well by default, but it's a much more subtle fill, so you don't notice it as much.
Okay, yeah, okay, maybe that's why.
Yeah, I would guess that's probably why Emre did the fill, but I would probably just take the fill out. I don't know if we need it anywhere, let alone. It looks like someone took it out of the air sensors. So yeah, we could probably just take it a step further and take it out of here too.
On the scale that was there, it looked like the radiation had dropped way down, and what it really was is a data gap. And I'd rather have data gaps look like gaps rather than, you know, where the radiation disappeared.
Well, there's some actual low values showing up here too, though.
Are there?
Yeah. Maybe it's like this. Maybe it's something that has to do with like this sensor compared to the other one, but.
Should never be zero, unless it's failing somehow.
No, that's. I mean, yeah, that's a true zero there. That's not an interpolated zero. So yeah, that's weird. I mean, even 1 is really curious, right? Like, it doesn't seem like.
Depending on the interval, if the interval is 5 minutes, 1 would be impossible. The tubes themselves give off like 3 CPM.
Yeah, so that's a little weird.
So we could, that's why, like in a lot of the other products, so in the debug and stuff, if it ever reads 0, it's an error because we assume that there's something disconnected.
I'm going to zoom in just to make sure it's not like some sort of average or something like that. But
no, it's
I mean,
0.
it's definitely a 1, no question about that. And it's on the C, 18C. Hold on 1 second.
That's the covered sensor. It just means it's there's in the SolarCast there's 2 tubes. They're identical, but one has its window exposed to the air, and the other one is covered with metal so that it's gamma only.
Gotcha.
Maybe this is one of the. No, they're both down to 0.
They're both,
so
yeah. That's looking like maybe a power supply problem or maybe a bus issue.
Yeah. Or humidity issue.
Yep.
Yeah, something with where it just isn't. Anyway, that's definitely a sensor failure or a electronics failure. The tube, if the tube came back later, it was not that the tube failed because they are pretty one way in that. They're like a light bulb. If it goes out, it goes out.
Well, anyway, found another device problem for you to poke into.
The SolarCasts are going to be very difficult because there's not that many out there, and none of them, they don't really have a future. They're already deprecated. So.
Okay. Well, I'll send you a link anyway.
And they were, despite the fact that there were like 26 or something eventually deployed, or 30, they were always experimental in that they were testing technologies and sensors, not intended to be real data sources.
Cool. So yeah, I think that's most of it. I am today, tomorrow, and Friday, I'm trying to focus on this problem. So I'm like literally just getting started, just like connected to databases, that sort of thing. So
Friday morning, I'll be testing the mobile bGeigie cast again. So cool. I don't know where that data goes. I've got to also try and modify it because the bGeigie cast module uses about twice as much power as the rest of the bGeigie. So it's going to have to be, even though I've got it on the car, I'm going to have to find some way to charge it because even with the biggest battery, it only runs about 7 or 8 hours.
I think this is where Rob usually recommends the wireless.
The cradle and a wire, a cordless charger, all that. I gotta somehow arrange that on the car. So.
One thing, and we only have 4 minutes left until we're about to get cut off, but I noticed I was pulling up this unit as like a potential for like a 10-year graph.
That's
is this expected?
1009. Wait, where is that?
Looks like Okuma, near Okuma.
Yeah, but it's west.
Futaba, west of Tomioka.
Yeah, I don't know where that one is.
This is going to be like a real average of, I'm pulling like a 5-year graph. So
it's got a nice slope though. It shows a trend and
it is beautiful slope.
10009. That sounds really familiar. Let me look that up.
But the thing that was curious to me is it looks like it stopped reporting in the middle of last year, and
one of them stopped at the earthquake last Friday.
Yeah, but it stopped way before last Friday from the looks of things.
It stopped back then. Okay, I think it was moved. If that's because 1009 might be somewhere else. Oh, hang on.
I think this is Matsumoto-san. He did never come back to you because you asked him to reset it, and it never happened, Joe.
Oh, that's the one in Tomioka then.
Yeah, that's what the name reports as.
Okay, I will visit that one on Friday and see if I can reset it.
Cool.
That would be great.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's why I recognize the number. That's in Tomioka. I know exactly where that one is. And it may be. Yeah. I'll check it.
Cool. Anyway, I'll focus on that one for now. I think it's probably more interesting to see, the trend from all the way in the past, even if it does get cut off halfway through last year.
The other thing that would be interesting to look at on that one is that's the third sensor at that location. So some way to bring the earlier sensors in.
Yeah.
And it's the second sensor head, but the third electronics. So we originally had an N-Geigy with a custom little head, and then we put I guess I don't remember everything. It's documented somewhere, but
okay, I'll see what I find. I'm gonna probably start with this stream first, and then maybe
the original installation was like 2013. Cool. And the sensor location is the same. I actually put the new sensor right on the same bracket on the house. So and we would be, and it'd be great to be able to extend that graph all the way back to when it was 7 microsieverts an hour.
Yeah, well done. Cool. So I'll go digging around the old API data and see if I can. I think probably the first thing I'm going to do is just see if I can jam it into Elasticsearch into a different index.
And how can we figure out? There's actually Vice Media did a video documentation of the original installation.
We're about to get cut off, so if you can dig it up, send it to the channel.
I will.
Cool. All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.